What the heck is going on, man?
Hello, John.
Mr. Ed DeBartolo, are you at your house?
Yeah, yeah. I
Yes,
could
sir.
throw a football to your house, or at
Yeah,
least
good.
a baseball.
Yeah, good. I wanted to just grab you for a few minutes. I know you're busy, and I just want to thank you again for hiring my dad and hiring me and all the great memories that you provided for the Gruden family, my friend.
Well, it was my pleasure because you were all great. I mean, great, great.
Well, listen, this 49er experience, there's a documentary coming out. It's called
Yeah.
The Rise of the 49ers. So I figure we might want to grab Mr. Ed DeBartolo and find out about this documentary. What do you know about it?
Well, obviously, I knew when they contacted us, um, after the Cowboys did their series. I guess this was a little bit in the planning, and AMC contacted Carmen and went over everything and explained everything and asked if we wanted to do it because they were excited about doing it. And it's quite long. There's two different showings, the first and the second, but it takes it from the beginning, and it's more. I didn't watch all of the Cowboys thing, but this is much more uh, explanatory as to how things transpired from 1977 to to 19 or to 2001. And you well know because your dad's was there for many years, and you were floating around there too.
Yeah. Well, 1977, let's just be honest, you weren't the oldest owner of a football team. I mean, you're 30 years old. Can you recollect what that was like?
Yeah, I
Even
was
though
scared.
you have you got some excitement in your eyes, but what was that truly like being 30 years old owning an NFL team?
Well, first of all, I was in a I was just I couldn't believe it. But once I got out to San Francisco and got in front of the reporters and had our first press conference, and I was scared to death. I didn't. What did I know? As I've told you before, I didn't know whether a football was blown up or stuffed at that time, and it was exciting. And as the years went by, I got more and more involved and more confident, and the relationships became better and stronger, and our family atmosphere between everybody from the people that cleaned the clothes to the people in the boxes to the coaches and the players. We made the NFL back there, I really believe, John, a different sport.
When you go back and it's 1977 and Ken Meyer is the head coach,
Mhm.
you're 5-9. You get this guy named Bill Walsh. Where did that idea come from? Just putting together the people in the right places as a young owner. How did you do that?
I I had a friend of mine out there was close to Bill, and he was coaching at Stanford, and I'm sure you know him. He introduced me to Bill Walsh. His name was Ron Barr, and I had met Bill. I went over. I met him at his house for a couple of minutes, and then he had something to do. Then we had an interview down at a hotel in San Francisco, and I sat with him in a room, uh, John, no more than 10 or 15 minutes. And I knew then that he was the guy that I wanted. Uh, Not that I knew what I wanted, because, I mean, I had interviewed a couple of guys, but excuse me, Bill just stood out for a lot of reasons. And, I was just amazed that no one had no one had hired him at the time. and that Cincinnati wouldn't have kept him.
You you win 5 Super Bowls. You're in the Hall of Fame. You get the Bill Walsh. You get Tony Rosano in personnel. You hire John McVay as your general manager. And then you start drafting these players, but you keep bringing this Ed DeBartolo family culture. The facility was state of the art. The way we traveled was state of the art. There was no free agency back then. And
Not
you were going out there to get the best players you could possibly get, and
right.
no expense mattered. Um, what was that? What was that about you that made you so different than everybody else?
Well, I figured if you treat the players like you would like to be treated yourself, and you give them as much comfort in their job as you could. We were the first to really fly in our own plane. Um, it was just to me that was kind of bringing sportsmanship, the NFL, and family together. And you're right. We went out and got the best players we could, and there was nothing too good. Bill, our '84 season, we had 3 All-Pro nose tackles.
Yeah, we had Fred Smerlas, Michael Carter, and Jim Burt on the same.
Right,
I used to think you were crazy. I said all 3 of these guys, they can't play. They can't play them all at the same time. We had
right,
Steve Young as a backup quarterback to Joe Montana when I was there. That's
right.
how good that team was. But when you look back on it, was there 1 or 2 memories? Was there 1 or 2 games? Was it the first one beating Dallas on the Dwight Clark play? What was there a time where you really realized, hey, I am the best, we are the best, and it ain't even close?
There were a couple of certain things that stick in your mind. That obviously is a big one. I think, excuse me, going into Chicago for the NFC Championship game. They had us believing that we were nothing but just pawns. And I remember it was like 25 below zero, and people in the stands had no shirts on. And the 49ers can't be playing with us. Well, the first series of downs, Jerry scored a touchdown, and basically the game was over. That sticks in my mind. And um, you know, John, you could go through all those games and pick some very, very special games, and it's just they live with you forever.
This Gruden Goes Long is brought to you by Chevrolet. Football season is coming to a close. And whether you're grinding through the week or gearing up for kickoff, there's one ride that's always game ready: the Chevy Silverado. Built for the hustle, ready for the game, Silverado is America's most dependable full-size truck. Head to Chevy.com to learn more and build your own Chevy Silverado. Now back to the interview. Well, you had a decade where no football team in NFL history won as many games as you guys did. You guys won on the road, you won in the playoffs, you won in the Super Bowl. Joe Montana, can you give a sentence or 2 about him just for the listeners that are going to see this documentary?
Um, I think the greatest that ever played. I mean, he had ice in his veins, and he knew the amazing thing about him and Bill's offense. And if anybody knows offense, you're an expert. Joe Montana knew where everybody was at all times, and he was the type of quarterback that he had lived a lot, but he just believed in himself. Not only was he talented, he was just a very special person.
And the defenses you had, Ronnie Lott, maybe just a quick synopsis of number 42.
You're making me laugh because he isn't any different today than he was 30 years ago. We get together. I told you In fact, next Monday, we're having dinner, and there's 17 of players and their wives. We do that a few times during the year. I don't know if other owners do that, or if they've kept relationships, and if they've kept strong friendships with their players. But it means the world to me. Not only is it a connection back to those great times, but they're my friends. They're my dear friends.
If you walk back in as an owner today, I was with the 49ers when you gave the speech to the entire organization before the season started. You got everybody on the same page. If you walked in today as an owner, what would be the one or two things that you would say to get everybody on your page?
You know, I'll tell you the truth. I don't know if I could do it in this day and age. Uh, it's so much different. I would try and do it, but with free agency and with player movement, um, you could make the greatest speech in the world, and 2 months later, half the players aren't there.
It's hard.
So all you can do is just, hope for the best, and get the best people you can in the front office.
It's funny you said that because I could only imagine if someone came up to you and said, "Well, we can't have Joe and we can't have Steve. You have to choose one or the two."
Right.
You would probably really struggle with that because you loved the players, didn't you?
I did, and I do. I do.
When you watch the game today, are you still on top of who's in the NFC Championship? And are you
Oh,
still pulling for the 49ers? I'm sure because of your sister and Jed York and the family you still have there, right?
sure, absolutely. And, obviously they had a rough going. They had a lot of injuries. I think the team got old, personally. And, they've got some great players, but there's some really good teams now in the NFL. Uh, these games this weekend are going to be really interesting, but the Seattle game is really, I can't believe the game, as good as they are and as good as they've played. I can't believe at home that they're only a minute favorite.
Yeah, I do too. I agree. I will tell you this: when they closed down Candlestick, I was broadcasting for ESPN, and that was a kind of an emotional time for me. I don't know how you handled it because that was such a great stadium,
It
an
was.
iconic place. Not that I don't like where they play now, but I did see you go catch that touchdown pass from Joe Montana in that ceremony. Were you nervous running down there catching that ball?
Yeah. Yeah, I was. It
I
was
was.
that was a great, great evening. I think it was. I think the players enjoyed it more than I did. I mean, we really had a good time. I mean, Joe, and we had players from not only our team but other teams, and we had what's his name, who was covering Dwight. Who was it? Walls
Was it? I
in
can't
the in
remember.
the championship game. Everson Walls.
Oh, you talking about for the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it was.
Well, he was there, and he covered me in the end zone.
He didn't cover you like he tried though. He didn't try to
No,
get.
he didn't.
He didn't try to d you up.
You know what he told me? He
What?
said, "Boy, I'd like to slam you right to the ground."
I'll bet. I kind of grew up with the Raiders after I left the 49ers, and that Bay Area is such a special place. What's your message to all the 49er fans as they get ready to watch this Rise of the 49ers video?
Enjoy the time. It was a very, very special time for all of you out there, all of you. And it was a special time for me and the staff. Very, very special time for the players. And sometimes great things like that only come around once in your lifetime. So enjoy it.
Well, you were the owner for 23 years, my friend. And this is going to be a great documentary. And it's all really because of you. You know that. And thank you for all you've done for football and not just my family, but all the memories that I have in football. A lot of them come from these great 49er teams. I still got
Thanks.
a lot of your jerseys hanging here in my FFCA headquarters.
Thank you so much.
But God
Thank
bless you, Mr. D. Thank you. And we look forward to seeing your documentary. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me.
Thank you. And send my love to your family.
We'll do. See you later.
Okay.
Thank you.